Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel in the first place. Today we have a Bakugou X listener. Now, as I may have already said, I actually did say this, but I don't know if you heard it, I'm not taking requests for the rest of the December, and this includes birthday requests because, honestly, I don't know. It's kind of just a vibe, but let's get into it. The USJ incident. It was the day that Class 1A of UA were attacked by the League of Villains for the first time. Numerous casualties, but thankfully no deaths. It was also the first day that Bakugou properly acknowledged you. You were known to be the shyest student in Class 1A. You had barely spoken more than a couple words to anyone in your class since starting school, and although your classmates had tried to befriend you, you didn't really have anyone you could call a friend. That all changed the day you were attacked. Villains were everywhere. Eraserhead was already sporting numerous injuries, but fighting to the best of his ability to protect his students. 13 was, at the time, with the rest of the class that had not yet been split up. Once Eraserhead was down, you helped Midoriya, Sue, and Mineta carry him to safety, but soon Midoriya was passing over him and rushing back into the fight to help All Might. You watched as he ran headfirst into danger and admired his bravery. Then the three of you continued to carry Eraserhead away from the fight. Todoroki, Bakugou, and Kirishima too, Sue added on as you watched the three of your classmates rush towards to the fight and aid your teacher. Mineta helped Sue get Aizawa-sensei back. They both looked at you surprised, blinking as you rushed away. You had spoken, but not only that, you had spoken loud and clear without hesitation. It was so out of character for you, such a quiet classmate, to speak so loudly and run towards danger. That's how they knew you were being serious. You were not ready to let your classmates risk their own lives, at least not alone. That was why you ran as fast as you could in hopes of helping them. By the time you reached them again, Bakugou had the Warp Man pinned down, but the fight was still far from over. That monster-looking thing they had been fighting was regenerating, taking even All Might off guard. One punch from the creature and all of the students were flying back in the air from the force created. All Might was the only one still fighting. The rest of you were frozen solid, watching on the sidelines as they continued to fight. You found your feet rooted to the ground in fear. This was not good. Just when you thought at least the five of you were in the clear, you caught sight of a villain out of the corner of your eye. A villain about to jump Bakugou. "Bakugou!" you yelled, body moving before you could think, as wings sprouted from your back and you pushed the villain back with the harsh wind power from a single flap of your wings. When you landed back on the ground, you were between Bakugou and the villain. This was it. It was your turn to fight. And so, you did. Thanks to your previous training, you had managed to hold off the villain for a few good seconds before another appeared. There was a sound of a crunch as your leg collapsed underneath you, and you screamed out in pain as you came crashing to the ground. "Listener," you heard Midoriya yell as the boy sprung into action. Only before anyone could properly react, Bakugou had already dealt with both villains and scooped you up into his arms. "What are you looking at, stupid Deku? Fuck off!" Bakugou snapped as he began to run away from the fight with you, carrying you to safety. When you were safe and back with the other students, reunited with Sue and Mineta, who had successfully carried Eraserhead back, Bakugou carried you over away from the rest of your class slightly and placed you down. "Listener, are you okay?" he asked, inspecting your broken leg. You blushed, suddenly realizing that it was none other than Katsuki Bakugou, who had swept you up in his arms and brought you to safety. I think so, but I can't walk." You nodded, face scrunching up in pain again, as he carefully moved your leg to lie it down comfortably. "No shit, your leg is broken." His remark was almost snappy, but there was still some gentleness to his voice. He continued to examine your leg, checking for any bleeding before sighing again. "You didn't have to protect me, stupid." You smiled softly and went to speak, but you were cut off by a boom from back where you had came from. Bakugou turned his head towards the friends he had left behind, or maybe the friend he had left behind. Everyone knew he didn't really get along with Midoriya or Todoroki. "Go, make sure they're okay." He turned back to you, eyes softening as they met yours, and nodded. "Be careful." You reached out for his hand, stopping him for a moment, and he gave your hand a little squeeze before slipping away again. Sue and Uraraka walked over, checking in your leg as they looked around for something to support it for the time being. "Bakugou brought you back? That's odd," Sue said, scratching the back of her head, knowing that Bakugou wasn't one to head away from a fight unless it was over, but continued helping Uraraka nurse you nonetheless. It wasn't only them who were confused. Pretty much everyone else who was here was looking at you. They were clearly wondering what had just happened, and when you and Bakugou had gotten so close, But if you're being honest, even you didn't know. What you did know is that you were sick of being too quiet, too shy to talk to him. If your life-threatening experience that day had taught you anything, it was that there was no time to keep quiet. If you wanted to talk to someone, you needed to do it, especially when it was Bakugou you wanted to talk to, the hot-headed, loud, intense, complete opposite of you, Bakugou. Although, despite your promise to yourself to gain some confidence when talking to your classmates, you were still rather quiet and awkward. But that was okay, because even a small conversation was progress. You had just about made friends with some of the girls in your class, and your relationship with Bakugou, although still unclear, had progressed somewhat since the USJ incident as well. What had surprised you about him was how he was usually so direct. When it came to you, he seemed to dance around the topic of what had happened between you two that day. Not to mention, he even came to check on you in the infirmary after Recovery Girl took care of your leg. "Is it better now?" he asked. "Yeah, good as new." You smiled, cheeks flushing again. He nodded. "Good, don't do anything stupid like that again, okay? I can't be there to save you all the time." Just like that, he was gone again. You knew it was because of his pride. He couldn't admit that he had feelings for you just yet, but you were willing to wait, because after he saved you, you were certain he cared for you as much as you did for him. In class, his friends teased him about it, although he just yelled back about how it was nonsense and to shut up about it already. You just giggled quietly to yourself at the back of the class, feeling your cheeks heat up once again. Katsuki Bakugou was a stubborn one, but you knew with you he could only avoid it for so long. Eventually, his stubbornness would overcome his pride, and he would no longer care that he liked the person who protected him back at USJ. Alright, so that's the end of this one. I hope you enjoyed. I liked it, so, you know. Fanfic link, music link, also my Amazon wishlist is in the description, as well as the Google form to fill out for Discord. I know I'm constantly behind on looking at it, but I do try and look at it every few days, so be patient if you fill it out, please. If you've already filled it out and you were in the waiting server, like after clicking the link, and you still haven't gotten the server invite link in over a week, please fill it out again. Feel free to DM me, you know. We can take care of that. I just need to know. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, whatever. And goodbye!